Welcome into the last edition of the Vendetta Sports Media Daily Show for this week. It is Friday, August 25th, and I am Jerry Walker. Alongside me is Jackson Fyda. We have another soccer episode for you guys today. As you know, Jackson and I are the two soccer coverage members. Rumor on the street, we may be having a new one. We'll see. But for the time being, it's us, and that's what we are here to talk to you guys about today. But before we do that, Jackson, how you doing today?
I'm good. Good. Ready to hop right into it.
Oh, yeah, and hop into it we will. Starting out with, we saw last weekend Lionel Messi, Inter Miami, win the CONCACAF Leagues Nation or Leagues Cup this weekend, or this week, I guess, this midweek. They were in the U.S. Open Cup, which is just another tournament of all North American teams, involves some of the USL, MLS, lower leagues as well, I believe. So down to the semifinals, and sure enough, one team that's still in it and is now moving on to the final is Inter Miami. And what a match that was! They took on Cincinnati in Cincinnati, and ultimately went to penalty kicks.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that match?
I didn't get to watch it live, but I watched the highlights. What a game!
Oh, it was.
Yeah, 2-2 in a regular time. First of all, the equalizer from Campagna in the 97th minute. It's crazy stuff.
Talk about that pass from Messi, just dropping it pinpoint perfection, or pinpoint precision.
Yeah, which then took us to extra. First of all, Brandon Vasquez, great goal. U.S. men's national team striker. He had a good goal. But yeah, so we go 2-2, extra time. Martinez gets to go in the 93rd at that point, or third minute. Yeah, it's kind of always confusing because you say 97th because of stoppage time, but then you go 93rd because of that. So I always find that interesting whenever I try to go with that. But yeah, third minute of extra time, so 93rd minute. Inter Miami takes the lead again. Martinez, who's been having also a pretty decent run of form for Inter Miami, put them ahead. And then it was Kubo. Yeah, Kubo in the 114th equalized for Cincinnati. We go to Pens, and just like they did in Leagues Cup, Inter Miami took care of business.
Yes, they did, winning the penalty kick shootout 5-4. Didn't go as long and as exciting as the previous one against Nashville for that final, but you said it. Miami just one step closer and against arguably the best team in the entire MLS in Cincinnati. So that's a very, very important win. Kind of, especially looking at the rest of the season ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
They got their work cut out for them, and it is. Cincinnati is by far the best team in the league. St. Louis City is second behind them with 44 points just overall. Opposite conferences, so take that into consideration. But this is a statement win because we have seen Miami beat some good teams, but this was like the first time we've seen them really trailing since they brought on Lionel Messi. And it wasn't just 1-0, they were down 2-0 before a Campana brace tied it up at the end of regulation, like you said. Martinez has been on a tear. 2 goals, 1 assist in his last 3 matches. He's part of that trio that's really just stepped up alongside, obviously, Messi's been playing, bless you. Messi's been playing really well, but since he's come in, Robert Taylor out of nowhere, Joseph Martinez is kind of getting back to his Atlanta form. So exciting stuff for Miami, and sky's the limit.
Oh, yeah, it really is. Like you said, this is more of a statement win than anything because Cincinnati right now is flying so high. They are at the top of the MLS Eastern Conference right now, and by a fair margin as well. They're 51 points. The next closest is New England at 43. So that's 8 points. Granted, they have New England has a game in hand, but still, that still is a 5-point difference if they do win that game. Cincinnati's looking really good. It was in Cincinnati, and they found a way to win. Even when they were down, even when they looked like they were out, they found a way to win. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Like you said, they were down 2-0. It took a brace from Campagna in a 97th minute equalizer, take it extra time, and then they took care of business in penalties again. Drake Callender, what a keeper.
He's insane. Him and Matt Turner have putting the U.S. team name on their back. I don't know if Campana or the goalkeeper from Miami is necessarily American, but playing in the MLS league.
Callender is.
I thought so.
Went to college at Cal Berkeley. Yeah, he's American.
Yeah. definitely. Then putting the U.S. on their backs when it comes to penalty kick shootouts, because we saw Matt Turner step up big time when he needed to for the U.S. team, and
Mhm.
now Calendar is doing the same thing for Inter Miami.
He's I think he earned himself a call up. It looks like.
I
Yeah,
could
I think
that.
he's gonna get called up to September camp. So
Nice. So that shows what it works in winning these games and making these penalty saves can do for a young goalkeeper is give them that boost and maybe get them that call up to the national team, which is kind of what every player wants at the end of the day.
mhm.
But looking at the other semifinal, Houston Dynamo, Real Salt Lake, this one also went to extra time, but it wasn't as close and exciting in extra time as this Inter Miami and Cincinnati match. Dynamo ultimately win 3-1. It was 1-all at the end of regulation. Then a 105th minute goal gives them 2-1 lead. Then a consolation, 120th plus 5 minutes. So fifth minute of stoppage time in that second half of extra time made it 3-1. So looked like relatively domination by Houston from the get go. Completely outshot them. 10 on target to 2 for Real Salt Lake, 67% possession for the Dynamos. So, looks like it was a very straightforward win that maybe Salt Lake were lucky just to make it to extra time.
Yeah, but hey, two extra time games in the semifinals. It's decent viewing right there. Decent viewing for U.S. Open Cup games. But yeah, like you said, Dynamo were clearly on top of them. Had huge advantage with possession. I mean, that's a huge advantage for those people who may not know. When you have more than 60-40 at that point, it's kind of domination. It really is. At that point, you're like, that team is just working them every other play with the ball. So they had 30 shots. That's an insane amount of shots, 10 of which were on target. So, and yeah, they definitely deserve to go through. So, interesting final now. Dynamo and Inter Miami. I don't know where that game's being played, but I want to say it's in Houston, but I don't know. But it should be a fun one.
It will be at the DRV Pink
Oh, it
Stadium,
will be Miami.
Fort Lauderdale, Miami,
Sweet.
Florida. So Messi can potentially finally lift a trophy in front of his hometown Miami crowd. So that would be good, but for him. But looking at Houston recently, they've been on an absolute tear over their last few matches.
Hmm. Yeah,
Winning this one
uh,
3-1, won 5-0 the other day against the Portland Timbers. Obviously, Leagues Cup stuff happened, but in this competition alone, in this U.S. Open, since going into the round of 16, 4-0 win over Miami, 4-1 over Chicago, 3-1 over Salt Lake. They are looking good in this competition and kind of carrying over a little bit until the MLS side of things. But still have their work cut out, sitting sixth on the Western Conference at the moment.
still playoff position though.
Definitely is.
Yeah, and that's all that really matters.
Oh yeah, it
Get
does.
the playoff spot.
Do you have any predictions? I know we're a month and 2 days out from the final of this one, but do you see it being anything special? Anything besides a Messi and Miami win?
I think at Miami,
Yeah.
it's going to be pretty straightforward. If it was in Houston, I think we'd have some excitement. I think because it's in Miami, it's going to be a pretty straightforward. Messi wins yet another title, another trophy in the U.S. Go
Yeah.
from Leagues Cup to U.S. Open Cup roughly a month later. I'm calling that. I think they win by a couple goals. Yeah, I'm going Inter Miami. I don't. Houston's they've been playing well. I just don't think they're good enough to beat Inter Miami. I thought Cincinnati would, and it looked like they would. But yeah, if they can't do it at home, I don't think Houston does it in Miami. Maybe they'll prove me wrong, but I'm going Inter Miami.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just don't quite see it being anything different than Inter Miami getting it done, especially at home. Like I thought Nashville was going to have that home field advantage when they were playing in the Leagues Cup final. Wasn't to be. I think just Miami has everything kind of going their way and are looking like a very, very, very dangerous team at the moment. So
Yeah,
I don't see too much to really overthrow that kind of mentality. So
yeah, for sure. Inter Miami is going to win.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, we will see. That will be the second trophy if they are to lift that Messi has won with Miami. That puts them one away from winning the U.S. treble. They just need the MLS Cup, which we can see they're out of the playoffs, as we've talked, by quite a few points at the moment, but not really that far away. They do have a very good chance to get in now that they are winning pretty much everything.
Mm.
What would you, when Messi first got here, did you expect him to have this much success right away and like with the team? Because I know I expected him to be really well, but I didn't expect the team to kind of go from that last place team to suddenly potentially winning 2 trophies already.
I didn't think it'd be like this. I didn't think it'd be like this. First of all, I didn't think he'd care. He cares. Like, he cares. Every game he plays in, he cares. He wants to win. He's showing that. I didn't think he would.
No.
He's playing like this matters to him. So that's huge, number one. But even then, I didn't think they'd be like this. They have yet to lose a game. They've gone extra time in a few, so that's take that in regular league terms would be a draw. But they have yet to lose. They've gone unbeaten in 8 games since he's come here. I didn't think they would do that. So I wrote about this I did a post the other day, like, can he take him to the MLS Cup title? I still don't think they'll actually make it into the playoffs because I think there will be a dip in form. Messi also needs a break right now. He's going to be given a break by Martino because how tired he is, apparently. Granted, that could just all be empty words, and then he shows up and plays and scores a hat trick the very next game. But I feel like it would only be human of them to have a fall in form. They've got 12 games left in the league. I don't think they win all 12. I don't think they go unbeaten in all 12. And I'm wondering if they've already built too deep of a pit to get out.
Yeah.
It is doable, though. It's 100% doable. And I would not be shocked in the slightest if they did it. And once they're in the playoffs, it doesn't matter what place they're in. I'm back. If they get in the playoffs, I'm honestly backing them. It's just getting in there. So if Messi does get that break, who else is going to step up in these next few games to carry them on through? Because they're going to need someone to do that. Campagna, 2 goals. Maybe he'll step up. Yeah. You have Taylor. Kremeshi's been playing well. Martinez, can't forget about him. So they do still have all these guys who can do the job. I'm just thinking at some point there's got to be a drop in form for a couple games. And I wonder if that's enough that, like, Chicago Fire, who's in 9th place, is able to get a win in the gap. Yeah.
Yeah, right now the gap's 14 points to that last playoff spot. And Inter Miami has played a few less matches. Chicago, who is in that 9th spot, like Jackson just said, 24 matches played. Inter Miami, 22. Everyone in between that gap is 24, 25. So Miami does have some matches in hand, but they're already at a 14-point deficit. Every match is going to be important, and every match is going to pretty much be a must-win.
Yeah.
If not a must, you just can't really lose them. You have to get at least something out of a lot of these, and they have their work cut out for them. They play, I know Cincinnati they still have to play. I want to say they still play New England. They have to play Nashville again.
LAFC,
who's been on fire. Atlanta. Don't know how Orlando and Kansas City are doing.
Orlando's 4th. They've been pretty good.
Yeah. And Kansas City is not doing.
City's in 11th. They're
not having a great season, but
they have some good teams.
Go ahead.
Like you said, they have to play some good teams.
Yeah, so they're gonna have their work cut out for them, to say the least.
Yeah.
It would be very impressive. Messi shows up halfway through the season and completes American soccer in half a season.
Yeah, 6 months.
6 months, if that. Even he completed. I saw some post on Twitter the other day. Picture of Messi lifting the World Cup. He's completed football. Then Messi with the trophy the other day after the Leagues Cup. He's already on his way to completing soccer now. So
yeah, he's close.
It's wild. I did not expect him to have this big of an impact. Like I said, I knew it was going to be levels ahead of everyone, but I didn't realize it was going to be this insane.
Yeah, no, what he's doing right now is crazy. Like, would not have thought it would be like. I thought it was going to make an impact, but I thought it was going to be next year where they're like this.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would be this year, but.
So I guess that's
wrong.
It gives me another question for you. What are your expectations for them maybe next season? You were saying you think they're going to drop in form. I agree. I do think they've kind of fallen too far. Messi will have to have a break at some point, but
I think next year they'll dominate.
yeah.
There's no other way to look at things when you're seeing what they're doing right now. Messi has a Copa America that summer, so he's gonna be caring. He's gonna be playing,
Mhm.
thinking about that, and wanting to be in the best form he could be in before the tournament. So I think they'll still continue kicking ass like they're doing now, and they're gonna have such a nice head start heading into the Copa America. I think they'll be in a good playoff position. I don't know if they'll win the Supporter Shield. I feel like that's always kind of a toss up with the MLS. Who wins that? Right now, it looks like Cincinnati's on their way, which I guess I could have seen it, but I really wouldn't have thought they would. Um, but I think they're going to be damn good next year. I think they'll reinforce, and yeah, more of the same stuff. I'm calling for next year. I'm curious how Messi will be after the Copa America, though. You know,
Yeah. So
why?
maybe it's he just wants all his stuff and cares much more before and focuses on Copa and then kind of just here to hang out.
That's what I'm thinking. Like maybe there's a drop off there because then he's like, all right, whatever. I'm basically done. I'm not doing anything else. That could be where the drop off is, but I still think they'll be good.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's still Messi. He
Yeah.
gets to play however he wants. If they do go out and get Luis Suarez, which is very possible, just gives them an even more dangerous attack. Sure, some of these guys are getting older, but Busquets, Alba, Messi, as you've all seen, are just levels ahead of everybody so far.
Mm-hmm.
It was before we get into some transfer news or like more recent transfer news. Another guy I did want to talk to you about and how he's been impacting his new team so far is with like Messi is Jude Bellingham
Oh yeah.
because Jude has been on a tear for Real Madrid, and I mean through 2 matches in the league they are undefeated. He has 3 goals and 1 assist, and it's just look he's making it look so easy. He looks like a leader on and off the pitch. It's just he looks like the guy that they was worthy of all that money.
I figured he would be. I've rated Bellingham for a while now. It's crazy to think that he's younger than me. That's
Oh,
actually pretty demoralizing. But
born in 2003.
2003 he's already basically a captain. He's a leader. He was
Yeah.
captaining Dortmund. He's going to end up captaining Real Madrid soon.
And he'll end up captaining England as well, I would think.
England soon. Don't you think?
Yeah, oh, yeah. I mean, as long as Harry Kane's there, probably not. But I can't imagine Kane really all that much longer. And after him, I think he goes straight to Bellingham.
Yeah, I don't think it goes anywhere else. Who would you give it to? Rice? No, I'm giving it to Bellingham over him.
Yeah, Bellingham over because I feel like Bellingham will also play more of an important role. Rice will be that one that kind of goes in and out at times, depending.
Bellingham will always be there.
Be a staple of the future of England.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, he's been damn good though. And what was it he said? Like Real Madrid's helping me. Like
Oh yeah, he said something along the lines of he's already better since he's gotten to Madrid than he ever was. He's like 10 times better than he was at Dortmund already. And he's played about 3 matches in general, including friendlies. It's
think about that for a comment because he was so good in the Bundesliga.
Oh yeah.
And now he's like, I'm 10 times better. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's terrifying for La Liga and the rest of the world, honestly. We got going Champions League. You got to think about this Real Madrid team who was already so good last year. The only thing that stopped them was an incredible City team. But now you got Bellingham to that mix.
Yeah. I just want to go through these midfielders because this is absurd. You have Jude Bellingham, you've got Camavinga, Tchouaméni, arguably Federico Valverde still. Then you also have Toni Kroos and Luka Modric. It's absurd. They have so many talented midfielders. Half of them are extremely young because obviously Bellingham is 20, Camavinga's 20, Tchouaméni's only 23. How old's Valverde? What am I blanking on that?
Yeah.
So 25, so a little older, but you have so many young guys right there. It's unfair.
And if they keep them around, they're going to have the best midfield in the world. They already.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they went from a midfield of like Ozil, Xabi Alonso, and I'm blanking on the third guy, to one of like Modric and Cruz, and
Yeah,
who's the other midfielder with that team?
that's what I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember.
Shake my
Casemiro.
But oh, Casemiro, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
they went Modric, Cruz, Casemiro. Now to these four youngsters.
yeah.
Idristas are something special.
I don't even think of Bellingham as a youngster though.
Oh, I know. It
That's
feels like he's been
crazy.
around forever, but he's only 20.
He's only 20, but he plays like he's 32.
Yeah.
He plays like plays like he has this vast amount of experience, which I mean he kind of does already, but he plays like he has more than that. You know?
Oh yeah.
Like he's he's different. He's different level. People always want to talk about right now about Holland and Mbappe, all these guys, but dude, Bellingham, man, at 20, he has something that they don't have with his leadership ability and kind of just that perfect, yeah, like perfect leader mentality to have that at 20, along with your incredible technical ability.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, looking back at it, he started playing really for a senior professional team when he was 16 at Birmingham.
Yeah.
He played one season there and had his number retired. That's
Yeah.
how impressive he was as a 16-year-old. It's insane. He is one of the. I don't know if it's fair to call him underrated, but you mentioned
Not
Mbappe. You mentioned
underrated, but like
underappreciated. He's like underappreciated.
yeah.
He does have the extreme talent, and people are raving it. If he was underrated, he wouldn't have gotten that God knows how much money contract. He is rated, but like you just never feel like there's that much talk about it. It's
He
always
should be.
he's never seems to be thrown into that youngsters group.
No, he should be in the same conversation.
Oh, 100%. Do you think he's a Ballon d'Or winner?
Not yet. In the future,
Not
yeah.
yet. Yeah.
In the future, I think he very well could. The problem is Holland's going to be scoring goals. Mbappe is going to be Mbappeing. It's going to be hard, but I think he's good, especially if England wins a trophy, which that's the problem. If England does win a trophy, though, I think Bellingham could win the Ballon d'Or soon. But I don't think he'd get it other than that because, again, Mbappe and Holland just have more – not saying this is fair, but attention and just, yeah, more respect, unfortunately, because of their nature, their goal scoring, their playmaking, more in attack. Even though Bellingham can do that and he can do more.
That's why it was so impressive when Luka Modric won it, because that's the only kind of thing I can think of in an era of Messi and Ronaldo, pure just domination. Seeing someone like Luka Modric, who's a kind of a defensive midfielder, similar sort of position Jude plays. He does play a little attack at times, but it was his team success. It was Real Madrid doing everything they needed to win. He led Croatia. That was the year they led Croatia to the World Cup final.
Yeah.
It's just one of those incredible years. And even if he wasn't scoring every game for every team or making assists, even the way he just impacted the game works beautifully and was deserving of the Ballon d'Or. That's the only way, as of now at least, I can see Bellingham doing something similar, as if he has an incredible team success and just down the midfield perfectly.
Yeah, but I think the unfortunate thing, Modric taking Croatia to the final World Cup is
it's a lot different.
You know
what he has to do with England.
Bellingham's on England. They are going to look at it differently. Be like, you need to win it. Yeah, like Croatia, you get to the final, you're like, holy shit, what a tournament! He's been insane. England, if you don't win it, it's a failure. It always is with you guys because you guys expect to win every damn tournament you're ever in. But
it's always coming home, but it never does.
You thought women's would come home too.
We'll talk on a little bit of that in a bit, but
I do think there's a world in which Bellingham wins a Ballon d'Or, a very realistic world. Even if England doesn't win, I think that would be the clincher. But I think he could definitely win it. Again, he's 20. He could be
So,
playing for another 15 years, for all we know.
I mean, he could do an Iniesta, and Iniesta's what, 43, 44 now?
I forget, he's like in his 40s.
He could be he could be playing for another 20 plus years if he just keeps it going. Yeah. Oh, I guess Iniesta's 39, but either way, that's still 19 more years.
Yeah,
You have a 23-year career. That's not bad.
that's pretty
Made a couple dollars or pounds or euros here and there, so
Yeah, decent little check.
decent check. But no, he's ridiculous, and that's why Real Madrid is one of the favorite. Is probably the favorite. Maybe Barcelona, but Barcelona hasn't looked superb this season so far.
No, Madrid's the favorite, dude. They're
Yeah.
100% the favorite. The odds are in their favor. They have to be the favorite with the team they have. Because besides Bellingham, you also have Vinny Jr.
Yeah, Vinny, Rodrigo.
You go. And then, like you said, all those other guys. You've Kepa in goal, so maybe that actually helps some of the other teams a little bit. We'll see which Kepa shows up.
Yeah,
But
I mean, defensively, they don't look as stout only because the guys are kind of getting a little bit older. That's the only thing I can really knock them for. Because I mean, it's still Carvajal, who's man. See, that's another one. Danny Carvajal, 31 years old. I could have sworn he'd be like 35 or 30.
he's been around forever.
He's been there forever. Maybe not. Rudiger's still 30. Mendy 28, but he's hurt again.
You rate Militao?
I don't rate him as highly as I know a lot of other people do. He's definitely a good center back, but I don't think he's an every weekend center back or defender even for Real Madrid. I think he's the kind of guy that they throw in for cup matches or if you're playing like Granada or something.
Because some people are trying to argue he's like the best center back in the world. I'm like, there's no shot. There's no shot Militao is, but
could he be? Maybe in the future, and then I don't really see it all that much.
But he's not, and he won't be.
Yeah,
he won't be. But going back to Bellingham, he's showing why they paid the money, and honestly, I think they could have probably gotten more for him.
Yeah, I wonder what his value is already up to again now.
What's up? His value?
I wonder what his value is up to now, how much it's already grown.
Oh, dude, it's probably so high right now. It should be, realistically, with the way the market's working, it should be 300 plus. Yeah. Which is that's crazy that the market's like that, first of all. I think that's a problem, but that's a conversation for another day. Unfortunately, I don't think that'll change anytime soon.
But no, he's been great. And I mean, want to just throw it out there. His brother has been playing superbly well as well.
Oh, yeah. Sunderland.
Yeah, Joe Bellingham's only a crisp 17 years old.
Yeah.
He's playing at Sunderland. 2 goals in his last match against Rotherham in the 2-1 win. Bellingham family on the up.
Dude, they are on the up. Imagine being those parents.
Oh, but 17 and 20-year-old sons already playing some of the highest level football you can in the world.
Mm-hmm. I think you did something right in the backyard.
Yeah, I mean, definitely did something right. That's for sure. Nice genetics as well. It looks like. So.
Yeah, you'd have to say. Kind of wish, man. I kind of wish I was blessed with that. But yeah, dude, Job's making a name for himself as a 17-year-old at Sunderland. So he probably won't be Jude, but he could be damn good.
Oh yeah, and I mean, there's always going to be that comparison of, how good are you going to be? Are you going to be as good as your brother? We've seen that with other players in other sports. Even it's always been your older brother's good. Can you meet that level? Say the Aronson. I heard Brendan Aronson's younger brother is possibly better, but you never know until
he
gets
is.
there. He is.
I'd say he is. Brendan Aronson works his ass off more than anyone I've ever met, or not met, but seen. But Paxton's probably like a little bit better, I'd have to say. But keep this in mind. Cavan Sullivan, remember that name. Quinn Sullivan played for the U20 team. His little brother, Cavan, fucking so good. He could be the next big guy. So that's another brother one. I feel like it's unfair though when people compare brothers and they're like,
No,
oh, better because they're different players.
yeah.
You know, you're not going to be the same player as your brother. So Job isn't going to be Jude. He's going to be Job.
And he's going to find he's in a different team, different situation, and like you said, different positioning a bit. They are both midfielders, but I would say Job is more on the attacking side, whereas Jude's more defensive. So it's going to be interesting. And he's got his work cut out. After 3 matches, Sunderland is in 15th place out of 24 in the championship, ahead of both of our teams, Leeds and Sheffield Wednesday. So
yeah,
not ideal, but hey.
Wednesday with a nice start to the year.
Oh, Wednesday looking superb.
Yeah.
0 wins, 3 losses.
Nice little 24th place. Only team yet to pick up a point. So
at least we beat Stockport on penalties.
That's true. That's true.
Relegation to League One wins the Caribou Cup.
Honestly, I would take that.
Yeah, I would mark that up as a success.
Right? Wouldn't you? I mean, that's a cup victory. I'd take that.
I mean, even looking at the losses, apart from that Huddersfield loss or that Hull City loss where it's 4-2, it's just been 2 single goal losses. And Wednesday did look dominated against Southampton for most of that first half, but the second half, it really didn't look that bad.
And also, you'd expect that. Like, come on.
Yeah.
That's how they killed Ward-Prowse on it. So
yeah, it was before they started selling some of their players.
Yeah, so it's early. It's only 3 games. Not gonna get too depressed yet. No. Still plenty of time.
Oh, absolutely. But moving away from that, we can pop back into the championship if we want to talk about it with some other matches later. But transfer news recently, it's honestly been kind of quiet, Jackson. We were talking about it before the show started. Not a whole lot. One of the ones today that's kind of coming through is Alexis Sanchez is going back to Inter Milan. It's going to be a short-term contract is the rumor. So you like that move? Don't like it?
I feel like it's just there to fill up space.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think it's anything like, oh my God, he's back. It's more just, oh, look, he's back.
He's back, yeah.
He's just there.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's been a long time since he's really done anything huge of note.
Yeah.
But that's one of the promising careers that I wish we could see have been handled differently.
No.
Because Alexia at Arsenal at that point was so fun to watch. He was so good, and then he made that stupid move to Man United, chasing him back. Did not work out for him. And he's still Arsenal. That would have been fun to see.
I loved it.
I bet you did. Yeah.
Yeah, tried to be a little cock. Wanted to dip out the way he did. Good. Glad your career didn't work out. Fuck you. You're going to be like that to Arsenal? Fuck you.
Yeah, I'm just glad he didn't work out at Man U. If they had won stuff because of him, that would have been disappointing.
Dude, I low-key think Mkhitaryan was better for Arsenal than Sanchez was for United, and Mkhitaryan wasn't good.
No.
He was far better.
Arsenal, Man United just continues to bring in these big-name players, and it just doesn't work out. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen with Mason Mount.
Yeah, I agree.
Still early, but it's not looked too promising.
No.
A couple other ones I want to touch on. Romelu Lukaku rumored to be possibly going to Roma and joining Jose Mourinho. I do like that one.
Yeah.
Gives Mourinho a big physical center forward. Lukaku was playing at Inter Milan on loan from Chelsea last season, made it to the Champions League final. He is, even if he'll never be up to the potential that was touted on him, he still has to be one of the more underrated strikers at times of this generation, just because he's a big, fast, physical guy that can score goals kind of from wherever inside. So.
Yeah, he's still elite. I mean, he's a little worse now than he was a few years ago, just because of age. Yeah, he's still elite. Good signing for Mourinho. His experience playing for Mourinho as well. So, yeah.
And I mean, it's always nice to have that extra attacking option if you are any team.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, even looking at Roma's attacking options, Tammy Abraham, Paulo Dybala, El Shawari was one that never truly lived up to his hype. There was so much hype about El Shawari when he first came in, and
He's
it seems
supposed
to,
to be class, man. It just didn't happen.
yeah. But even adding all those guys, Abraham, Dybala, Shawari, they're more finesse guys. Not exactly the most physical attackers, kind of skillful on the ball, much more so than I would say Lukaku, but that just adds a different dimension to it. Like I said, he's a big dude.
He is massive dude, massive dude. So yeah, you get another option like that up top. He does well when he plays in Italy, so
Does
should be good.
absolutely. Moving on from him, more of a rumor this past week that I don't know if it's ever going to come to anything, but Mohamed Salah to Al Ittihad. I know Mo apparently wants out of Liverpool after their interesting start. So, something's happened there. He was frustrated when he was subbed off and didn't say anything to Klopp and looked agitated when he was subbed off on their first weekend of the season. And Klopp's adamant he's not going anywhere, but Saudi money, Saudi money. If
It is.
Liverpool gets an option or a, oh man, what's the word? A number that they like, it's going to be hard for them to turn it down potentially, especially for Mo Salah.
Yeah,
What do you,
yeah.
what do you think? You think we'll see Salah end up in Saudi Pro League?
I want to say no, but I've already been so wrong so many times with that league this year that I'm not going to make a comment at this point. Uh, he could. I hope he doesn't. I really do. I think he still should stay in Europe. He's too good to go there right now. But I don't know. Maybe he's done. Maybe he's just like, screw this shit. I just want to go. I mean, maybe the Muslim aspect will help get him there, actually. You know?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Is we have seen a lot of other Muslim athletes
Mhm.
go and make that move to Saudi Arabia, and it's really not far from his home in Egypt either. So
Yeah, that'd be how I'd see it happen. I just think if you're him, you should stay here. Even if you want to leave Liverpool, just come to Arsenal. You know?
I think if he leaves Liverpool and stays in Europe, I think he goes somewhere else, different
Yeah.
country. I don't think he'd be a Spanish player. I think I could see him going back to Serie A.
That's
If
what
time team. I don't know if he'd go to Fiorentina, but maybe like I don't see him fitting at AC Milan
no,
or
I don't
like a
want because they don't pay.
Juventus or Napoli kind of thing, or
Yeah,
maybe.
little Juventus.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see what else. What other deals have we had on recently? You mentioned Mohamed Kudus to West Ham.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts on that signing? You like it?
I like it. Their midfield looks pretty good right now. After
Yeah.
losing Rice, I didn't know how it would look, but they got Kudus, who can also play in the wing, so he's incredibly versatile. They have Kudus, they have Alvarez, who could play more of the sitting defensive midfielder, and Ward Prowse, who we talked about on a Premier League podcast the other day. He's just so good with his playmaking and his ability on set pieces. Like,
Oh,
yeah, he's
and I mean, they still have also Piquet or Lucas Piqueta in the midfield.
yeah,
Thomas Suchek, who hasn't been great this last year, but still could be pretty solid at times, which just adds another body. West Ham's they're a sneaky good team. Their defense is just looking so suspect.
it is that. And I'm wondering how long they'll keep Moyes around because it feels like he's always on the verge of getting canned, but then he goes and does something
I mean,
remarkable.
we'll see what happens in their next four matches for the Hammers because at Brighton, at Luton, home to City, and at Liverpool.
Yeah,
Not an easy stretch.
no, but yeah, like you said, we'll see.
Yeah. A couple other ones that you've brought up before the show. Kevin Tierney looking likely to be going to Real Sociedad.
Yep, on
I don't
loan.
think
No
too
option.
much there. Yeah, but
Yeah, He just fell out of favor because he's not even playing when like Timber got hurt. Zinchenko's going to play over him. They played Tomiyasu over him. He's got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to go. If Tomiyasu's playing over you, you're like, dude, I got to get the hell out of here. So
it's time for a change of scenery. Get out of England.
Good money for Sociedad, though. I do like Tierney. I just don't think he's what we need right now. I don't think he's going to fit in anymore. I do like him, though, and I wish him all the best. He's going on loan, no option to buy, so he'll be back. But, yeah, I'm hoping it works out for him and he can find another landing spot eventually because I just don't think he'll fit in with the way Arsenal's moving forward anymore. But good player, good signing on loan for Sociedad.
Yes, he is. It will be he'll just benefit any team he goes to because he is still a good player. It's just like you said, there's not enough space for him at Arsenal, and he's kind of being forced out.
Yeah. And
another guy. Oh, go ahead.
I said it's unfortunate, but that's just what happens as teams evolve and try to push forward more. Arsenal's trying to match City, and Tierney's not going to be the guy that gets that done. So
I agree. Another guy that I just have kind of come across some news that will be moving, João Cancelo, looks likely to be joining Barcelona over at some point in the next week. Looks like everything is agreed from both sides. Barcelona is just waiting for the green light for financial fair play to be approved. I still don't understand financial fair play. Some teams actually get hit with it. Others spend millions on millions on millions and never see anything.
Yeah.
It's like obviously we saw the Barcelona stuff. How is Chelsea not getting hit with financial fair play?
Because they offer him baseball contracts, so apparently that makes it okay. I have no idea. It makes no sense.
Go ahead.
I have nothing else to say. It's just like it makes no sense. I guess better like good attorneys get the job done.
Yep. I mean, I saw something today. Chelsea and Luton Town have just kicked off, but Chelsea has spent $343 million this summer. The stat for Luton was $32 million that they've spent since '92 on players. It was either 92 or 98, but either way, $32 million over the last 25 plus years compared to $343 million in one summer.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that there's not something suspect going on at Chelsea. You can't have spent £1 billion in 3 windows and not be breaking some sort of rule.
Dude, of course there is, but
we'll never see it. It's like we argued it with Man City that they were breaking rules, Real Madrid. I mean, Real Madrid spent how much on Bellingham and then how much on the other players they brought in this year?
Yeah, already so much. And imagine they somehow get Mbappe. They won't, but
oh yeah,
it would have been an insane amount of money.
Yeah, there was one. I saw something on one of the social medias recently. Of guy was asked, "What would you take from U.S. sports and apply to the European football world?" There were some terrible ones. It's like, "Oh, you need a mid-season playoff."
I got this. Yeah,
you need mid-season playoff nonsense, which that's what the FA Cup is. That's what the Caribou Cup is. Just saying that.
Well, Leagues Cup, dude. You gotta love that. He's got to be a huge fan of the Leagues Cup then.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. But one of the guys that I did see made a point of like, these other teams, the other leagues should introduce maybe a salary cap.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hate that one at all because, I mean, his argument was you bring in a salary cap, it levels the playing field a bit out because there's no chance a team like Luton, looking how much they've spent recently, because any shot in hell at competing with any team in that Man City or Newcastle or Chelsea or United, Arsenal, with how much they're spending, there's no shot in hell that ever happens.
Yeah. And I always find this interesting. I feel like a lot of countries around the world rip on the U.S. for our capitalistic ways. But the way our sports work is way more socialistic. And the way their sports work is straight capitalism. Oh, yeah. I always find that an interesting contrast. Like here, everything, it is all about money, don't get me wrong. But we structure in a way where the competition is kind of like socialism. over there it's about money too, but the way this competition is structured is more like capitalism, where it's like you pay. I mean, there aren't salary caps. There's financial fair play, but like, is there? So I always find that kind of interesting. But yeah, like that would be. I wouldn't mind that, to be honest. I think I made this point earlier. I think there's too much money right now in soccer in the market.
So
Like
much.
there's too much. When Declan Rice is going for that much money, I'm like, there's too much money in this. No human being is worth $100 million.
You're telling
I
me there's
probably see that.
you're telling me Jude Bellingham and Declan Rice are almost worth the exact same amount of money?
Not even close.
Yeah, that's
No.
that's what the point I'm making. It's like, why are guys like Declan Rice going for 100 million just because West Ham's like, oh, he's our best player, and if you don't pay it, someone else will. I'm like, shit, guess you're right on that one, but like,
Fucking paid it.
why? I don't.
Glad. I mean, glad we got him, but we fucking paid it. So
Oh, you paid a pretty penny for that. But do want to talk on some other news. There was, we mentioned earlier this week on the Daily Show, Luis Rubiales, the football president for Spain, was kissing his players and all of that stuff after winning the World Cup while he was presenting medals. There has been a huge amount of backlash now. I've seen Alex Morgan, I've seen Swedish players, English players, all coming out and saying this is outrageous. And he came out earlier today with some meeting of some sort or some trial or whatever the thing was officially. And his statement was, "I will not resign. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm staying, and to hell with you."
yeah, what a prick.
Yeah.
What an absolute prick, dude. I He said it was consensual too.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't think that was friggin' consent. Look at the backlash. I don't think that was consensual. And even if it was consensual, it's not appropriate. And you should lose your job. Like what
Yeah.
world is he living in? He's not
Oh,
living in the
absolutely.
current world. Like
I
this,
mean,
we're not in the 1950s anymore. You can't like
and just, yeah. And at the very least, at least, because, I mean, as much as I would think he should lose his job, I don't know if Spain will actually force him out, but give him at least a suspension, year suspension, something, some sort of punishment one way or another. Because
yeah.
I mean, I'm impressed that it's gone. It's not even just female players now complaining. Don't know if you saw Borja Iglesias on Real Betis and a member of the Spanish national team said he will not play for the national team as long as Rubiales is in charge still. So that's maybe a statement. Clearly not the highest level
Yeah,
player on this team, but like still, at least some of the male players are stepping up and trying to say, who knows, maybe he wasn't getting on the national team
yeah,
anyway, but
that's what I'm saying. That's a pretty easy thing to say when you're in a position where you're probably not going to make the team a whole lot. But it's either like nonetheless, it's still good that there's support coming in.
yeah, that's more of the point I wanted to make.
Yeah.
Because I mean, let's see, how many caps does he actually have with Spain? Maybe one.
Yeah, that'd be like me saying I'm gonna refuse all call ups to the US men's national team until I don't know. Until something happens. To be like, oh sweet, okay, Jackson Fyda, Bradley soccer player, won't get our call up. Okay.
Yeah, he has two caps, so not a whole lot. Don't expect him to be playing for the Spanish team anytime soon again. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
I find athletes always make stands like this when they're in situations where it doesn't impact them, usually, and that's what pisses me off.
I mean,
I'm not
there's no reason to be saying that. Obviously, he's bringing more attention to it, but like, really,
it's good he's making the call. It's just like athletes who are like, I don't know, if you're like, I don't know, Gabby said that, then suddenly you're like, oh shit, we just lost Gabby.
yeah,
But I feel like it's always athlete. The sad thing is, I think athletes usually only take hard stands on stuff that could impact their career and future if they're in a situation where they're already like on the decline. I'm not going to go down a political wormhole here with some other examples, but I do think it always kind of disappoints me that those are the people who speak up. It's not the bigger name people a lot of time. I feel like the bigger name people only speak up when they're in large numbers. But either way, it's good that someone is at least coming out and supporting because there should be some kind of punishment for what went on with Rubiales for sure.
I mean, as bad as the whole act and all that stuff was, the thing that's the most annoying to me in this case is it's just taking away from Spain winning the World Cup and achieving something that only one Spanish side ever before them has done, and that was the men's side 13 years ago.
Yeah,
Which that's amazing in its own right that the men won the World Cup for Spain 13 years ago. I still remember watching Iniesta score that goal, so it's time flies.
It does. It really does. But yeah, you're right. It takes away from it.
Yeah. I mean, this should be something that they should be celebrating. The players should be celebrating, yada, 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 all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not. Instead, there's this storm cloud over it of, oh, this has happened. Jackson, I'm kind of similar on a negative note. I do want to talk to you about another player who we haven't actually spoken about on the Daily Show at all yet, Mason Greenwood.
Ooh, fun.
Because obviously we all know what happened with that one where he was accused of sexual harassment, rape, but he was proven, all the stuff was dropped.
Yeah, he wasn't proven anything. It was just dropped.
Guilty at all. It was all dropped, which money speaks when you have that much. If you've heard the tapes or saw any of the images of his girlfriend at the time, then
yeah.
Water. But there was a point where Man United were investigating their own thing into having him come back. It's official now that they will not be having him come back. I think that's the right move. I don't think had he come back, the fans would have turned on him. I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying he should be allowed back because he might help. But
no, you don't.
No, you don't want that in your life. I mean, that's a nightmare.
Yeah, you got to think about more than just him on the field. That's locker room. That's fan. That's global perception. You can't have him there. And honestly, he needs to get out of England. He can't be in England. He can't play in England. It's kind of like Ben Mendy. You can never come back. You got to go somewhere else.
Blacklisted from there.
Yeah, I mean, go to Saudi Arabia. They'll probably welcome that kind of behavior. But all seriousness,
actually there was one link I saw of Al Etihad or El Tico, whatever the pronunciation is. It's the team Steven Gerrard manages. They're like,
yeah.
Would you have any interest in Mason Greenwood? Absolutely not.
Good.
Was the response. He's like, nope, you can't have that here. Or like,
Gerrard said it, right? Because he goes back on his word. So kind of like how he said, I won't. He says stuff, but then goes back on his word. So I don't know if I really trust him. Will you go to Saudi Arabia? Absolutely not. Ends up going to Saudi Arabia because of the family feeling he got there.
Because every English family always dreams of spending their summer holidays in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, I'm sure his family's fucking thrilled about that. Oh, sweet. We get to go live here. You could have taken a job in Spain or, I don't know, Italy or anywhere.
The southern coast. You mean Nice didn't want to hire you?
Yeah, dude. You didn't want to go any of those places? No, let's go to Al Ettifaq.
Yeah. I'll tell you what the fuck is going on. But hey, I'm just glad he said that about Greenwood. That whole thing's a mess. Like you said, I think he should be blacklisted from England. He probably will end up playing somewhere at some point.
Where do you think though?
In terms of country?
His feels worse than Ben Mendy's.
That is, yeah.
Doesn't it? Like, it feels worse than Ben Mendy's. Even though Mendy was, like, in prison.
Yeah.
In prison. His feels worse than Ben Mendy's. I don't know why. I feel like because Ben Mendy's, even though I think he did something, there were probably some things in there that were exaggerated by the woman, which is why he ultimately didn't get in trouble. But Greenwood's, none of it felt exact. It just felt straight up. It just felt so.
I think that's part of the thing was there were still questions about Ben Mendy's, about details of it.
Yeah.
The details of this one seem much more cut and cold. And that's why they're especially outraged that he wasn't proven guilty or anything. Because, I mean, the video was terrible. And, like, there's bad stuff on this. It's definitely going down a negative rabbit hole, but, like, this needs to be talked about at some point.
It
Let's
does.
have to talk about on the show.
And you hate. I wrote a post earlier this summer. It says like Ben Mendy should be given a second chance. I think he's a scumbag, but he's proven innocent, or not proven innocent, but he wasn't found guilty. So you kind of have to assume innocence. But with Greenwood, it wasn't he was found not guilty. It was dropped.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
dropped because I feel like you go to court, you're you can't argue against what we saw with the evidence. I
And don't get us wrong, neither of us are lawyers or any of that, so we don't know the exact details of all the evidence. Maybe there was other stuff. But from what we have both seen, I think it was cut and dry.
yeah. So I don't know who will take him. I I don't know why you would want to take him. Like if you're a bigger club,
There's,
don't take him.
yeah,
But
there's teams that, not necessarily teams that don't have morals, but teams and countries that everything's kind of different. Their way of life is different. And he was a very good player at Man U, so maybe he still does have some of that talent. And I'll say we've seen it in other sports. There's all the Kobe stuff when he was in Denver.
dude, which is crazy.
That was some of my favorite.
About
Those
that
were some of the most fun games to go to were Lakers Nuggets. Because anytime Kobe was there, the entire crowd would just chant "No means no" at him.
more.
Great stuff. But I mean, there's that issues in the NFL all the time with players who,
Sean Watson, holy crap! You want to talk about Ben Mendy? Let's talk about
yeah,
Sean Watson.
I
But
do sport good. Rules no matter.
yeah,
Pretty much, it's
that's how it is. If you have enough money or you're good enough at something,
and that's why I think we'll play somewhere again. I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of maybe the Baltic countries or.
Russia. Whatever.
But I mean, even if he, because I guess teams can vouch for it, saying, "Oh, he was never proven guilty," and that can like cover their asses. Don't know. We'll see. I do think we will see him play at some point again in the future, but depending on where, can't beats me.
Yeah.
But Jackson, do you want to end on kind of some more of positive notes? Because last two have been a little upsetting. But Monaco will go back to some transfers, looking to be getting an American guy from Arsenal. Let us talk to us about that a bit.
Yeah. So looks like 45 million. God, is it euros? Transfer
Yeah.
fee, I think euros. Either euros or pounds. I think it's euros.
It's
The most expensive sale Arsenal from Arsenal ever, by the way. Isn't that crazy?
most expensive sale
Most
by Arsenal.
sale. We had Van Persie. Think about that. Yeah. Where the market's at. That Bala one's going for that much. But yeah, so it looks like he's going to Monaco, which I think is incredibly short sighted of Arsenal and Arteta. I think he's better than Nketiah. I think honestly he could push for the starting role. I really do. There's also the element that he might not want to wait and just wants to go be the guy now. And it sounds like he kind of wanted out of the club, a little bit just so he could go and get that starting role right away. So I guess maybe it's not entirely on Arsenal. It's a mutual kind of thing. Like, we won't stand in your way. But good signing for Monaco because he killed it last year on loan in France. And he's young. And if he keeps doing what he's doing, they're going to have a great goal scorer on their hands who's only going to get better probably. And I really hope it works out for him because now he's the U.S.'s number 9. So we need him to be balling out because one of the problems that this kind of, I don't want to say golden generation because it's not yet, but this new kind of wave of American talent has been lacking is a goal scorer, is a good striker. He could be that guy. It could also be Ricardo Pepi, but I think Balogun has the best shot at being an elite level goal scorer for the U.S. So I'm hoping he can continue what he was doing last year, this year with Monaco. And hopefully get a big move in a year or two. But I think Arsenal's might regret this.
Yeah,
This
I
feels
agree.
Gabriel.
Yeah,
So we like
it's a little premature. Maybe loan him out for another season. Don't just sell him straight up. But like Monaco's been very, very good historically at bringing in these sneaky good players. Usually it's for cheap. It's just the way the market is now. This is, I guess, cheap in today's market,
Yeah.
or at least. But even then, Monaco's always been able to bring in these young guys and it work out extremely well. This is just another example of one that we think could be very well in the future and benefit them and the player in the long run. So
Yeah. If our
doing it.
Arsenal put like a
Go ahead.
buyback clause or something, although 45 million, you're probably not gonna have a buyback clause, I guess.
Yeah. Doing to say at least the last thing for me, I want to talk about domination. I mentioned it a little earlier. This price spending difference of Chelsea and Luton. It's noticeable on the pitch at the moment. 17 minutes in, it is 1-0 Chelsea. Have a guess at the possession stats before you look them up.
Ooh, I haven't looked. I'm gonna guess 70 plus for Chelsea.
Yeah. 85% roughly for Chelsea, 15% for Luton.
Wow.
This is through 17 minutes. 6 shots on goal to 1.
Whew.
Pure domination, and it's Raheem Sterling who has the Blues up 1-0 on Luton.
No way. Sterling actually scored a goal.
Yeah, I know. Didn't he score last weekend as well, though? Did he score? No, he got dragged down for the penalty that
Oh yeah,
Enzo
he
missed.
didn't score.
But no, Jackson, any final closing words before we wrap this one up?
Nothing on my end.
Fair enough. There you have it. Man of many words. Now, but thank you guys for watching as always. Make sure you click that subscribe link, whether you're watching YouTube or Twitch, and make sure you follow all of our coverage, not just us on the soccer side, but NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, a little bit of everything. College football starts tomorrow. Can't wait for that. So follow our college football stuff at vendettasportsmedia.com. Thank you guys for watching and have a good rest of your day.